bit. And so,
Yes. Okay, everyone, we're going to get ready now for our next speaker, who has been here with me all day in her office, running everything behind the scenes. And you've heard her voice already numerous times. Jen Narkavich, owner of My Girl Managed Services. She is a leader in the marketing and advertising sector with more than 18 years experience. She has worked in some of the largest advertising companies in the United States. As I mentioned, she now owns My Girl Managed Services, which helps businesses become relevant digitally and manages their business marketing programs virtually. It is a marketing services company for every small and medium-sized business. Jennifer is a resident here where we're located in Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania for more than 15 years. Jen has a wonderful family, her son and daughter, and her daughter's two children, two of her grandchildren are actually here today downstairs with their great grandma. And I have to say they're being really, really good. Well, the littlest one is only 10 weeks old, so just keep a bottle in her and she's fine. But the 4-year-old, we have promised ice cream too. So we're going to ice cream after all of this because he is being really understanding and patient with us that he can't be up here in the office with us playing with Mimi and Aunt Jill. So anyway, I'm going to hand it over to Jen and she's going to provide us wonderful information on how to use Google My Business and social media to power your business.
Thank you, Jillian. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna share my screen here and provide the rest of the information. I appreciate the opportunity. I am not going to share my screen. I hope everybody can see this. I'm thinking it is sharing properly at this time. So I appreciate everyone's time today. I know that we've had a long day of speakers so far, and tomorrow is going to be filled with even more dynamic folks and doing some great presentations. So I appreciate the opportunity and to get my information out to everyone and talk to everybody a little bit about Google My Business, the listings, what they are, how they're used to attract more leads, more customers, reviews, and more. We're going to speak a little bit at the end about social media and hopefully shed some light on some of these topics. So if you're using Google My Business, and I'm not sure if everybody is, but Google My Business is really used to make sure that if someone's looking for what you do and where you do it, they can find you early, often, and relevant to do business with you. It's complex. Google actually changes their algorithms all the time. So while you can theoretically do this on your own, it's recommended to use a marketing agency to help set it up, facilitate it, and manage it so you get the most and best results from everything that you're doing on Google. You can synchronize all your listings and rely on all the content and push it out across the board because though writing content, and if anyone is Facebook friends with NEBWA, a Northeast Bottled Water Association online, you'll see the content that my team has been writing, building up to this event to help it be success. And if you're not, please make sure that you do like the page because there is continued content being pushed out there. So if you can hold all your questions to the end, we will get to them just like we're doing for everything else. And we're going to begin our journey. So we all want to make sure that our clients can find the information. Maybe it's just not clients, maybe it's vendors or people you're doing business with online. You want to make sure that your information is set up correctly, that it all matches really well so that people can do business with you, they can find you, and that you can get out there before anyone else gets their information in front of your clients. And Google is changing their algorithms so much that we all have to keep up with it. So how do we make sure that we keep up with all those changes? Well, it's all about making sure that your listings are set up right online. There are hundreds of different sites that are out there. Google is one of the top ones. Actually, it is the #1 search engine out there. YouTube is actually up there with Google itself, owned by Google, because people like to watch videos rather than read anymore today, which is why we're doing a lot of this virtual stuff, because we'll make this all available online for you so that you can rewatch it over and over again. So with all these different sites that are out there, there are about 25 to 30 sites that are the core of Google that Google indexes to. And we recommend those, plus an additional few of them, to make sure that your information is found online. It also helps your search engine optimization with your website to help your website specifically index online. Google, aka Google My Business, is the top one, like I said, for obvious reasons. So how do I set up your Google? How do you set up your Google My Business? Did you know that business profiles on average receive about 42% more requests for directions on Google Maps and 35% more clicks to people's websites than just a standard business listing alone? So if you don't have a Google business listing, it's very important that you do. And I'm going to try and cover a lot of the different steps to set them up today. There are about 80 different steps to putting a Google My Business listing together properly. However, don't worry, I'm only going to go through the top 9 of them. There's a lot to cover. So, I mean, I don't want to lose you guys. I only have an hour to do this, right? So the basic stuff is that we want to make sure that your name is on there. Your name, address, and phone number is your NAP, not sleeping NAP, your name, address, and phone number. So you want to make sure that you add your name, your address, and your phone number, and it's the one you want your clients to interact with. The first step of doing so is you want to actually add in your business name. Cherry Ridge Consulting, for instance. That's the business name. You don't want to add information into that to kind of stuff the keywords in there. For instance, you don't want to add Cherry Ridge Consulting, environmental consultants, bottled water specialists, and wetland delineation. The reason is because Google doesn't like that. If your name is Cherry Ridge Consulting, you want to add that information because there's another way and another spot where you can actually add the keywords so that you're coming up correct and relevant within a search. The next step that you want to do is you want to add your primary category. And I'm not sure if you all know this, but some of those words, environmental, I'm going to go back to it, environmental consultants, bottled water specialists, and wetland delineation, Google doesn't actually have as categories. So we have to come up with our own categories based on what makes the most sense for Google to find or people to find you within that. And then there's a spot for us to add keywords within that. That's why there's 80 different spots to actually add information into your Google My Business listing. That's why we're only going to go through 9 because there's so much information. So what comes next? After you've added your business name, you've added your categories of where you need to be. You want to add your street, your address, your service area, your primary phone number. And you don't want to use call tracking numbers in this respect because you want to be able to see what is actually happening because this is all trackable without that. And your visibility is significantly reduced outside of the 20-mile radius if you don't add all the correct information. So now I've added all that information. I've added my hours, I've added my phone number, I've added my on my address. What else do I do? Well, You have to add your website, you have to add your appointment website, you have to add your menu website, you have to add your services and products and your business attributes and your business description and your labels and your YouTube videos. And oh my goodness, there's so much more that you can add. But you've got to add all that information so that it's relevant to the people that are searching for you. And once we add that, we're able to add our photos and our landing pages. Each image has to be a certain size. Each image needs to be a certain pixel rating. You want to add your business logos, cover photos, external street views, and then you can add your local landing pages with all the criteria listed. So there's a lot of information that can be added within that, which will help people to find your citations out on all the different search sites, websites, and application sites relevant. So once you get all that information added and you've built your citations with your NAP, then what we do is we actually go and look at the key factors on those listings to make sure that everything is quality scoring and set up correctly. This is what experts in the industry call the foundation, on which all else is built for your marketing campaigns. You can choose to try this undertaking yourself, like I had said in the beginning. However, it's very time consuming. All that information that I just went over, and yes, I sped up intentionally within that because there's so much information that can be added, needs to be added. And I could keep going on for hours and days about the information, but without having the ability to place that lock on your company's citations, it allows two possibilities to happen. Either old information will appear with it, and then if you've changed your address, like we have here in the Poconos, my address used to be 437, then it was an RR route. Then 911 came through and they changed it to 2229, which has no reference to any of the previous previous mailing addresses. If you've ever had to change your address as a business, that information is still out there, even if you change it on Google and you change it on Bing, and if you change it. So the more spots that you've changed your information, the more sites can come out that can change it back to the way it was, because anybody can change anything on the internet. So it's very important to lock that information down and make sure your citations are all right and concise and correct, because Google likes content. Google likes information, and it likes correct information, because if an end user doesn't get the right result from a search, they move on. So it's so important to have that information out there as corrected and often corrected as possible. So once we build our citations out there and we have our NAP, then it's important for us to take a new look to how we can get more people to really see our information. And that is done through reviews. Once you set up your Google My Business listing and it's on the internet, anybody can review you. Anybody can say anything online. So we want to make it important for our clients to review the information that is out there, because it's the biggest driving force to your listing's visibility. And because people like to know what other people's experience has been with a business, so they can continue getting information and good information out there. It gives us social proof. So it's that important to get reviews, and it helps Google to see that you're a credible business. Well, about 93% of consumers read reviews to determine the quality of a business. So that's why we add information in regards to reviews online. There are two main reasons to increase your review velocity. The first is follow-up. After an initial request for a review, if no response is received, You should follow up with the client after 3 days. It's important to make sure that you're communicating with people that are reviewing your business. And depending on the industry, it could have a really big impact to help expand the business. And the last piece of the puzzle, when it comes to Google My Business and making sure that your information is spread all over the place, is setting your customers and your information into Overdrive. So this is 2 different listings that I've pulled up on Google. They are full of the 80 different components in which a business can add information into Google My Business. As you can see, they are both different. As an insurance company, you can actually request a quote through their listing. The other one, as a service company or a auto mechanic, you can call, you can quick get to their website, you can see their products and services. So there's different ways that each business is going to show themselves online, depending on what they want to show so that they can get the most out of their listing specifically. So one of the most important parts to powering your local SEO with your Google My Business listing is to write content and post it to your listing itself, which is all part of social. It helps you to increase your local search ranking and optimize your Google listing, even if you don't have all the components added. So you can write content just like you would with Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, now TikTok. You can write content and you can actually post that content to your listing itself, which will help to win you more clients because they will see relevant content being posted on all platforms of social, which will help to increase your engagement. So I know that's a lot of information, but I have even more because I want to talk a little bit about social media and what the best things for social media for folks like you would benefit from. There is a high popularity of sharing just about anything and everything on social media. Instead of just throwing it up there, it's important to put information that is engaging to clients and that people will like and share for you, which will help you get better reach and it will help you get better visibility. With the world that we're living in with COVID, people are sharing and spending so much more time on social media because they're out of touch, I guess you could say, or they have no person-to-person contact right now, and everything is online. So we're locked in these 4 walls that we're always in, and frankly, people want to get out, and the best way for them to get out is really getting online and in the social media world. So people, businesses that are posting and are not only posting just advertisements, but they're posting content that is relevant to their business, but might not be always a buy from me, here's a coupon. It's also good quality advertising and good quality content. Maybe it's a share of an article about winterizing your vehicle because it's going to snow, so you need snow tires. And then it's about, I need to get an oil change here. Let's get you taken care of there. So it's all about the content and making sure your businesses have the right content that's being pushed out. And choosing the right platform for your business is extremely important. Facebook is still taking the lead when it comes to social channels with more than 2.5 billion users. A good second is Instagram with 200 million Instagrammers. They visit their business pages about 28 minutes a day on site. So Instagrammers are constantly on the computer. They're constantly looking at content, whereas Facebookers are dedicated to the business pages, and they can customize the brand. They can see the brand. They get to be more interactive with the brand. When it comes to business, the primary platform for business relationships is LinkedIn, and it has more intelligent and wealthier user base compared to the other social media channels. Now, this information was gathered from a social sites blog pages, that shares where do I start. So the 3 places that are the most important these days is going to be Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn for businesses. Now, a very important part to social and being out there online and engaging with your audience is developing a routine to ensure that you're monitoring your sites daily, your social sites daily, and keeping your online audience engaged. After all, that's why we're all doing this in the first place, is making sure that we get our information out there, people are seeing it, and they're engaging with it. So you've created your listing, you've added all the pertinent information, you went and you added your products and your services, you did some posts, you got out socially. Now what do you do? Well, you can call me and I can help you with that. Seriously, you could call me. It's okay. I can help you with that. But other than that, make sure that you are posting regularly. Your information is out there for all your clients to find and see. And you are posting regularly on social media, because if you are not, you are missing out on a very big opportunity to get yourself in front of more clients, more business owners, and more people. And that's all the time I have for today. I said I'd be early. Does anybody have any questions? Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate that. He said, great job, Jen. It's a lot of information, and social media and listings is very easy to do, but at the end of the day, it's very time consuming. So if you have any questions ever, just let me know. I'm always here to answer them. Back to you, Jill.